Hi, welcome back to my channel. I've decided it is time to, and this isn't like a strict, like, I have to stop being lazy, because I definitely would say it's fine to feel down, feel out of energy, feel burnt out, and I think it's fine and healthy to respect that when these times come around. But I've put on my flower headband and I'm thinking it's time to manifest. I've just watched a video about manifesting. I think it is one of those things where it's good to incorporate, definitely not something to worship, but also it can be helpful to like bring about your inner wants and actually bring that into reality. So much crap on my desk, thank you Pamela. So even now I feel in better spirits, my humour is arising. You know, I'm seeing family in a couple of days. I think that will lift my spirits a bit. So anyway, because it's easy to like give your power away to other people, to like an illness. I've definitely found that I'm one of those people where if I've had like, obviously I've had like mental health problems, like it's been something that I think I've subconsciously given power to, and I think it's good to be aware of your health. But when obviously things do take hold, if you have trauma or whatever, it's obvious that I think it's healthy to give weight to that, because it's something that you need to work on. But it shouldn't be something, you should still want to work through your life and enjoy life and manifest at times, you know. So in my experience, so yeah, I feel like for me it's kind of just like coming to bring consciousness to the unconscious desires of like my lower brain. They say that about subconscious desires, like they're stored in the subconscious, obviously. Think about not getting in touch with your subconscious, and I think the whole thing about manifestation is kind of bringing subconscious to conscious, because if we are just being conscious all the time and we don't sort of like think about what's behind it, it's easy to get stuck in this like mindset of like, you know, not, sorry, I'm just moving my coat off my bed, and not kind of, is anyone else like that where they don't like putting stuff on their bed? I feel like I sleep on my bed and I don't like to, I'm wearing this, I wore this to bed last night, I sound really lazy, so demotivated. This is going to be the start of motivation videos, to be fair, but like, I've just chilled out enough. So anyway, I obviously just want to chill out, I can't remember what I was saying now. So yeah, I think it's just getting involved with your like subconscious. Sometimes you can get stuck in like negative thoughts or just unhelpful, like useless thoughts that are irrelevant and stuff if you're just processing the conscious, because you're not really getting in touch with like inner needs and stuff. So I think it's just kind of getting to grips with like the lower part of the brain, just being like, if that's whether like, you know, I think goals are part of that, so whether you're like, oh, okay, like I want to go on like Plenty of Fish again, meet some more people, go on like more dates, or I've gone to quite a few meetups recently, so I've met like different people. That's been something I've kind of brought into fruition. Seeing my friends more, stuff like that. I mean, it's just something I've just started thinking about. I do think maybe I do want to live, or maybe it's just like I just want to live my single life, and I think it's fine to be passive sometimes. I definitely think it's part of life to be passive, but then at times it's also like good to not be passive as much, or incorporate more active thinking into your process. And also things like positivity and just not getting into like a mental, I don't think rut, because sometimes you just have to work, you have to move through low vibrations. We'll see sometimes it's like astrological, you have like low vibrational days and things, and that's completely not something that is in your control. But things like positivity, sometimes if you do find that you're getting, like if you have like a bad experience and you find yourself sort of, this goes talking about assuming what other people think, and kind of incorporating negative people's opinions into your own mind, which if you're kind of stewing is easily done, like, but some people's opinions simply don't matter, and some people are like negative and it's kind of like a projection kind of thing. So if you are like incorporating those people's like opinions, it's not really healthy. And if you are kind of, that's why being focused on things that are healthy and kind of what you want to pursue can kind of just disallow that sort of stewing on things that are not important. and not sort of like I wouldn't say aligned for you, but also not healthy, not like worth stewing over in a negative way. I'm not saying like you should never not stew, because people always stew, but I'm just saying like the healthy balance can be helpful to sort of incorporate that for that reason. And this girl was talking about this fuck it mentality. So my camera switched off. I'm gonna move the camera back to where. No, I cannot, because the lead is too short, so yeah, we're going to have to continue here. That's okay. Because I think things like manifestation, it can be in reality, you know, it doesn't have to be like, things about spirituality and stuff is very particular to the person, and it's kind of like some people are like, oh, it's all like la-di-da, like there's no like grounding of reality in it. And I think it can be very much grounded in reality when you are like bringing that subconscious stuff to the conscious level, because yeah, you're sort of like, you're acting on how you think and feel, so it's kind of not all like blasé or whatever. Anyway, so yes, I was going to just like touch on how like lockdown, obviously it's affected all of us, and I feel like whether that being demotivated, anxious, whatever, like obviously you've got to take that into account in terms of like not being how you want to be, but it's also been trying to think about what you do want. And I think even like career wise and stuff, I think it's important. I think because I watched a video of this man, I've kind of been umming and ahhing whether I'm kind of being lazy or whatever, trying to pick my career path up and stuff. Obviously I mentioned my online store, which I do want to be doing, but this man was talking about how he would basically work to avoid his feelings of like trauma and stuff he'd experienced as a child, and I just feel like I've kind of worked through a lot of that, and I don't think you can. I do think I kept myself busy for a long time to try and avoid my feelings, but I don't think it's a bad thing to be in touch with your feelings, and actually that'll give me a better route to be where I want to be, more so than just kind of dancing around trying to avoid my feelings and avoid my trauma by keeping myself very, very busy. So I'm kind of like, the more I like meditate and the more I think, the more I sort of ground myself, the more of a healthy life path I'm going to be on in career. So that's kind of my new outlook, because I'm kind of like, oh, why don't I like keeping myself busy? And I think having a job is healthy, but when, you know, what's right for you, but also I don't think pushing yourself into a situation that you hate or you know you're not going to be happy at is necessarily the best thing, and to be kind of conscious of what you get yourself into, and not just kind of like throwing yourself into a situation that is not going to be beneficial for the employer, not going to be beneficial for you, and just not going to be sort of all round helpful. Sometimes just having your eyes shut and sort of jumping onto a boat of something that you kind of perceive other people to think to be right for you when you actually haven't thought it through properly isn't always healthy. And also, back to manifesting, I feel like you can also train your brain to be passive, and you can train your brain to be thoughtful, and I think this is why I feel like having the balance is important. And manifesting could be an activity, but it doesn't have to be a constant process. Because obviously you don't want to be constantly overthinking things and all that stuff. So yeah, I think for me as well, it's going to be trying to move around to being more authentic. Also, as someone that's been authentic for a while, I feel like I've always prided myself being authentic. I feel like maybe even being less authentic is actually something that I'm moving towards, like subconsciously. Sometimes I think about manifestation as well. I started talking about this thing called the fuck it method that I saw someone talk about. I think that was her personal thing. I don't think this is like an actual thing. It was just someone on a video, she called it a fuck it method, where you just kind of are like, fuck it, and you just allow yourself to manifest whatever you subconsciously want, because that's the thing about manifesting, sometimes you're not even conscious of what you want, and that's why it's so helpful and healthy, because you obviously don't know until you kind of allow it to manifest, if you like, and you can surprise yourself. I probably need to look up more on how to manifest, like writing on a piece of paper, to write that down, in terms of like, I don't really know what people's techniques are. Probably could do with getting more educated on that. But yeah, this is going to be my thoughts on this, and hopefully a route to a more fruitful life, and a more life that's more aligned to me. And yeah, I'm not unhappy on my path. I feel like I'm giving off this like low vibration at the moment, but it's probably just because I've been through a lot in the last past. But this is kind of supposed to be a bit of a video of uplift, even though it's kind of coming across a little bit flat. So yes, take it for what you will. If you've got this far, good. So yeah, thanks for listening. Bye.